Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind ya. The heart of a lion, the team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind ya. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
Hey, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is an Overreaction Monday right here on YSN Live. DJ Yoakley with you alongside two co-pilots that I would proudly share the cockpit whenever and wherever. Ladies and gentlemen, first we give it up for the 8-time best-selling author, the world traveler, the Grammy, Emmy Award-winning, and Nobel Peace Prize nominee. Ladies and gentlemen, fresh off his turkey break, Anthony Ronald Hardwick. What's up there, Ronnie?
It's a good. I had some really good turkey. I'll tell you that. Grade A turkey this week. So and I ate a lot of it. So there was a lot of sleeping going on this weekend too.
Proud of you, buddy.
Turkey's like an automatic nap because it's got all that tryptophan. So
you are a resident turkey expert because you are a resident turkey. Okay, so congratulations. Welcome back to the show. And the number one turkey, the ace turkey, if you will. He is the Tom of our turkeys. He is the professor. He is a gentleman who needs no introduction, but always gets one because I like doing it for him. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest writer of all time, and perhaps the Picasso of our time with a camera, he is Greg McAfee.
How we doing?
Dude, we are all great. We got a little bit of a break.
Yep.
I say that with a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek because really, none of us were on a break. We just didn't have a camera in front of our faces, which is okay. Better for everyone, I think. You dashing lads, as opposed to my ugly carcass all over. But I'll tell you what, Greg, you made a little bit of a travel that we're going to talk about here momentarily, and you did it for the brand. We appreciate that, man. That was unbelievable. You represented us down there. What was it looked a little slick out there. What were the roads like?
Yeah, I mean, the roads weren't too bad. It was kind of funny. Like I was driving down to New Philadelphia on Friday, and the roads were all clear. And then I don't know if you guys have ever been to Quaker Stadium down in New Philadelphia, but you it's like in a little park, and they have like a little pond and a nice little small like Ferris wheel and all this stuff. But I kind of came in the back way, and you come up over a hill, and then you obviously see the lights of the stadium. And you're looking down on the stadium, and there's just snow all over the field. And I was like, "Oh, okay, it's gonna be one of those nights. All right, this should be fun." But it was good. It was fun, huh?
It was kind of like a Hallmark movie in its own.
A little bit. Yeah.
Did you take the wife? Did you guys go arm in arm through the park?
Oh. No. My mom was here, so they stayed home and hung out. Watched some TV. I think they went and saw a movie. Enjoyed the Friday night.
It was the beginning of Act 3 of the Hallmark movie where Greg really messed up and had to kind of self-reflect on how
he had to look within.
Yeah. All right. How am I gonna save this here?
A lot of internal discovery by Greg McAfee at Quaker State. Okay, guys, I got to tell you, not a great football weekend for anybody. really, unless you are an Ohio State fan, which there are plenty, as I've come to know. However, everybody else, it was tough, man. It was a tough watch on Friday night. Greg, you were at the McDonald game. Obviously, the season comes to an end for the Blue Devils, 41-14. We were rooting for them the entire way, but Hillsdale, they were the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've talked about how good McDonald is all year long, and I've been saying all year that they're pretty big size wise for a Division 17. They have a couple guys across the front that are pretty big, and allows them to kind of enforce their will on teams. And when it came to Friday, I mean, Hillsdale, they're a good team. I mean, they were a team that was in the state finals last year, and they, from the very first play of the game, I mean, they forced, I think, a 3-and-out maybe on McDonald's first drive of the game, and then Owen Sloan, who's a heck of a running back for Hillsdale, just slips through the line of scrimmage on Hillsdale's first offensive play of the game and takes it 69, 79 yards for a score. And we talk about momentum in high school football, and that's all the momentum they needed. They went up 21-0 midway through the third quarter, through the second quarter, and just kind of coasted from there. And it didn't seem like McDonald could really get into their game. Obviously, we know they're a running team. They like to run the ball, but they have the ability to pass. And it didn't seem like they could really get anything going on the ground on Friday. And, obviously the result was what it was.
But, and there's a big but, right? There was no give in McDonald. They did not wave the white flag at any point during this game. They just kept punching as long as they could, as hard as they could. Here's the thing. I don't think I would ever necessarily say McDonald was overpowered or overmatched, but we've seen this before where, and I think it was JFK. Anthony, you'll have to remind me. I think it was JFK that we saw a slippery field. We saw, a snowy field, and it just takes away from our teams. And I don't know, I know both teams have to play in it. Obviously, we're not making excuses, but it was a situation where the grit, the determination, what McDonald had to bring, it just looked like they could never, no pun intended, get their footing in that game to really grab onto something and roll, because their brand of football is a physical brand of football, but it just looked like the other team had it from the get-go in Hillsdale.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got off to a little bit, in terms of McDonald, I think they got off to a little bit of a slow start. You still saw the fight there throughout the game. They came down in the second quarter. They cut it to 21-7 on a Casey Miller touchdown run. And then, Hillsdale was able to respond almost immediately on their next offensive drive. But throughout the second half, it seemed like McDonald kind of settled in a little bit. They were able to come up with some defensive stops. Josh Crumpack on the end zone in the third quarter. And, they were there. They came up with a lot of big stops when they needed to. It just, there was things that Hillsdale was doing. They utilized this wide receiver screen pass that really kind of hurt the McDonald defense. But McDonald never went away. They were fighting throughout the game. They had a couple big picks. Jordan Perry came down with an interception. They had a couple big plays. It was just, one of those nights where just things didn't go their way.
And Sam just put in the comments, Hillsdale was in the state championship last year. They're the team that lost to Marion Local, and I think they saw Marion lose, and their eyes got really big, like, this is our window. We cannot mess this up. And that's not a knock on St. Henry, obviously. But at the same time, I think Hillsdale saw this as an opportunity and said, we can't let this state semifinal get ahead of us when we see this window open up, that the big monster in the closet, Marion Local, got beaten.
Yeah, they're a physical football team. I've seen a lot of physical football teams this year, and they're one of the most physical I've seen. They shut down McDonald's run, which is not an easy thing to do when you have different types of running backs like Preston Van Meter and Casey Miller and Drew Zajac, and they were kind of able to nullify that. And when you're able to nullify that, you can kind of settle into the secondary and limit the passing game, and that's what they did throughout the night. And Hillsdale, special team. McDonald had a special season though. 13-1 in the 100th year of their program, winning the regional championship. This senior class, like we said last Monday, has been special for McDonald. They really kind of revitalized the program and kind of put them back to where they're known for being. And it was a really special class, special team. So you got to give all the props to the Blue Devils for the year that they had.
Greg, let's dive into that a little bit more, because we had a chance to talk to Drew Zajac, Kyle Puckett, the two captains this year for McDonald. I know it's something along, when you're 18 years old, you're kind of living week to week, and so was that community with this team and this community. When you think about where we are in life and being journalists, to encapsulate what just happened to them, how do you put that into words about how special that is for a young man moving forward in their life, their career, athletically or academically, or just in a general, hey, this was something that it'll be precious to me and I'll hold dear for the rest of my life?
Yeah, I mean, high school football is a special thing. And I think like this time of the year, like if you go through social media and things like that, you start to see all the messages that come out from former high school football players who didn't necessarily go on to the next level or play or anything like that, because football is one of those sports where if you don't continue to play in like college or go on to the professional, like it kind of comes to an end. Like it's not like baseball, it's not like basketball, it's not like tennis or golf or any of those type of sports where you can, go out and continue to play like throughout your life. Like football, like padded football especially. I mean, you can go out and like play 7-on-7 or something in intramurals and things like that.
Organized,
but organized, yeah. But like high school football, like putting the pads on and everything like that, if you don't continue to play in college or professionally, it kind of comes to an end. And it's a weird feeling. You play this sport all your life, and when you're in high school, for those who don't go on to play in college, it comes to an end, and it's a weird feeling. I mean, these guys will look back on the season that they had and the success that they had over the last 3-4 years, and be able to look at the impact that they made, on this program, on the school, on the community. You start to see all the messages come out from the players on this McDonald team and how much it's meant to them and things like that. And I don't think they should never hang their heads, just because of this one game. It's the success that they've had over the last couple of years was definitely special. And to go out on a season like this, one step away from the state championship, it's not a failure. It's an accomplishment. And it's something that they definitely need to, understand that they had success. Just because they didn't win a state championship, they had success, and it was definitely a special year for the Blue Devils.
So when you think about where you go from here, I think one of the cool things about high school sports is, as much as this loss hurts, a lot of those guys have a basketball game on Friday. McDonald opens the season on Friday, so you really don't have any time to really think about it, because you're in practice 4 days later for the next sport, which is wild in high school, but that's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like I remember being in high school. I didn't play football in high school, but I played soccer, and we had a pretty successful program. And it's always funny because we would make deep runs in the playoffs, and then our season would come to an end along the way, and then 5 days later we'd be in the gym. Some of us would take a day or two off just to recover. Others would be in the gym the next day, like staying active and getting ready for sports that we love to play. And I think that's the special thing about high school athletics in general is you get to play year round. You get to go from sport to sport to sport, and it's really cool. I mean, you get to stay active, you get to represent the school, you get to represent, in McDonald's case, the M on the jersey and everything like that. And it's really fun to see. I mean, these kids are ready to go, and they're special athletes, and I'm sure they'll have success too in the winter.
Naturally, they go from one great coach to another, and Jimmy Franciscelli from Dan Williams. And one of the things I want to talk about to close up this chapter of McDonald football is Dan Williams, and how important he's been along this ride and in this community for the last 2.5 decades. Greg, you have more interaction with Dan Williams, I think, than anybody at YSN this year. When you think about what the coach means to the program, what the coach means to the community, and Dan Williams, if this is his last hurrah at McDonald, what is McDonald losing from that standpoint, and what can they take away from Dan Williams that they wouldn't have had otherwise?
I mean, just I mean, he's been there for what, 25, 26 years. Think of
Yeah.
the impact that he's had on that program. I mean, he's a McDonald alum. He's, been there for so long. He's impacted so many different athletes. And it was funny, not necessarily funny, but I'm at the game on Friday and I'm kind of walking up and down the McDonald sideline, and you see all the former players and alumni that are out there supporting the program and the impact that, Dan has had on all of them. He's ever since I moved to Youngstown and, obviously had my former job and everything like that, I've been able to interact with him on a, weekly basis, yearly basis, obviously when football comes around and everything like that. Just one of the best guys ever. He's always, willing to help with whatever. He's been the same way with YSN. Great interview, great guy, just loves to, mentor young men in the football community and everything like that, and looks out for their best interests. And, he's, in the huddle at the end of the game on Friday, and he's speaking to his players, and he's like, guys, you can't hang your heads with this. I mean, this is a successful season. You had a great year. It's something you can't hang your heads on. It obviously just didn't go our way tonight. And he's had such an impact on that program. He's such a standout coach, and he's that prototypical high school football coach. He's always looking out for the best interests of his kids, wants them succeed not only in football but in life, and prepares them for that next chapter. And he's had a huge impact. I mean, he's one of the best. He's one of the greatest. And if this is his last hurrah, I don't know if it is or not, but he'll be remembered as one of the greatest.
We go from McDonald, who ends up on the short end of the stick, heading to Canton, to another team, the other team, of course, Cardinal Mooney, who ended up on the short end of the stick as well, but the game a little bit tighter, especially in the first 3 quarters or so. Mooney kept it close. They had the lead there for a while. They end up losing to Wheelersburg 24-10. A tough night for the Mooney offense. They lost Ike Lake early, I think just after he scored, to make it 7-3, and just could not rebound. And Wheelersburg was a physical bunch. Their quarterback was impressive, to say the least, and a tough night, like I said, offensively for the Mooney Cardinals. When you take away, we talked about Dan Williams at McDonald after 2.5 decades at the helm. You got Frank Colapret, who is at his first year at the helm of his alumni, his alma mater, I should say, Cardinal Mooney. When you think about impressive debuts in programs in high school, this has to be near the top, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just think of where Cardinal Mooney has been the last couple of years. Think of what they've done. Obviously, he was able to come in and turn the program around, and obviously he had a really special senior class in his first year at Cardinal Mooney, and they're a group of kids that haven't seen a ton of success over the years, and they wanted to prove that we're Cardinal Mooney is still Cardinal Mooney. Like we were on the edge of something. And they had a really successful season, a really deep run. And just to think of kind of how they went through the season. I mean, they lost huge players along the way. Dom Lutlow, Ike Lake obviously had injuries along the way, a couple other guys, and they're able to get healthy for the playoffs, benefit from a 2-week bye going into the playoffs, and really just go on a run. And, they obviously just kind of run into a juggernaut in Wheelersburg, who's, still undefeated, has special players all over the field. And obviously they were able to compete on Friday, just, came up on the short end of the stick. But I mean, again, Mooney special season, and it's one of those teams that will kind of be remembered, especially the senior class with the success that they had and everything like that, and being able to turn around the program and leave their mark.
When you think about the Mooney program and the history of it, I was talking about my dad, who's a Mooney alum and played on the football team. He reminded me, like, a lot of those state championships, in the 70s and 80s that they've won, you didn't have to go through 6 more weeks after the regular season to win a state championship.
Yeah.
Because it was, it was you were kind of invited there even before it was like a 14 playoff, before the 18 playoff that we saw for a long time, and then 16, now 12. So this is one where this run kind of, in my dad's opinion and in my opinion, it kind of puts him in that conversation. Maybe not the best Mooney football team we've ever seen. Obviously, there's been so much talent at Cardinal Mooney in their history, but it's definitely not one that you take for granted when you talk about the run they made, considering how hard it is to go win a state championship nowadays in football.
Yeah, I mean, and especially with from going from where they were to where they are now. I mean, just the turnaround, the going from having bad seasons to having a season like they did this year with only 3 losses, 2 in the regular season, and back-to-back weeks against programs like Canfield and Steubenville. So, obviously they were very successful this year. It's a team you look back on and you're like, all right, we were able to turn it around. We left the program in the right place, and obviously, with the new leader at the helm in Colaprete, they're in a good spot moving forward, and they got some young talent as well. Obviously, the senior class was good, but the talent coming up as well is good.
Isn't it tough? And I'm going to put you on the spot here, so get ready. Isn't it tough for any parochial team to win over the favor or be respected by the general public because they're parochial? I mean, from a standpoint of Moody, this was an impressive squad. Squad. And the second that they start having elite success, and what I mean by elite success is you get through the regular season, you start beating South Range, Girard, Garfield. There's a lot of people that go, well, they shouldn't even be in our division. I mean, Dirt being the biggest advocate for this, because he pops on every single show. He's merely an echo of what everybody else is saying, and the conversation continues of should parochial and public be separated. I'm in the camp of let them play. Open enrollment kind of even things out, but if a parochial if the parochial wins, it's always going to be they shouldn't be here. What's your take on this? And should people respect and appreciate this Mooney team for what they were able to do this year?
Look, we've talked about how, I've covered high school athletics in multiple areas, Arizona, Pittsburgh, a little bit of New York, and then obviously here in Ohio. No matter where you go, no matter where you find yourself, even if it's in Texas or if it's in Florida or if it's in Georgia, there's always going to be the conversation of public versus parochial. It's a nonstop conversation, but I think it's kind of like, I would like to say it's a little bit of null and void. Like, I don't think it's the same in every area, but like, especially with, I'm not sure if WPIAL has open enrollment, but like, if you look at Arizona has open enrollment. Ohio, there's a lot of different schools around our area that are open enrollment. And so kids have a choice of where they can go. And I mean, out in Arizona, it was the worst. You have kids jumping all over the place. I mean, I think I've talked about it on here before where I did a story on a kid who, if you've ever heard of Saguaro High School, they were one of the top high schools in the country. And I did a story on a kid who drove 45 minutes to school every day to go to Saguaro because they were known for putting, kids at the Division I level. There's one year they had 22 Division I players on their team. And if you, do the math, 22 players, 11 players on offense, 11 players on defense, it's 22 kids going to a Division I level. If you ever heard of the name Kaylee Ringo, he was a defensive back for Saguaro, went to Texas, now plays, I believe he's with the Eagles. Bijan Robinson, who's an Arizona kid, is now the star running back for the Atlanta Falcons. But kids have a choice now. And obviously, as Sam said right here, the only time you ever really see it is when the parochial teams start winning and having good seasons. No one talked about it when Cardinal Mooney was having bad years a couple years ago. And it's a conversation that comes up every year. It's not unique to the Ohio area or anything like that. But when you have a special season like Cardinal Mooney did this year, obviously people are going to talk about it. And it obviously all depends on enrollment and where they're located division wise. So if it's a year where enrollment is down, they're obviously going to drop down. If it's a year where enrollment is up, they're going to go up a division. But I don't think it's anything that it should count against them or anything like that. I don't think you should, they're a parochial school, they get to recruit whoever, blah, blah, blah. It's open enrollment. Kids can go wherever for the most part. And it's a conversation that has kind of reached its head for me in a way, if that makes sense.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Look at the score. Wheelersburg public school. I mean, they went and did it. So
it's can I just say it's silly at this point?
That's a good way to put it.
And what's sad is because of it, I think, if this was another school like Girard, Poland, a public school in the area, I feel like there'd be a lot more support from the area to end this game. I saw a lot of social media that was more like snickering because Mooney lost.
Oh yeah, and
And
listen,
I don't think that would have happened if it was a public school in the state semifinal. I think they would have been like, oh man, great season, guys. Keep your heads up. You represent our community well. But because it's Mooney, it was, see, they're not that unbeatable. They got humbled, Well, yeah.
I get frustrated because we're not part of it, but we're like, if we delete the comments,
right,
it's our fault. We're taking away freedom of speech or whatever. Like Mooney, I've had this conversation with JFK. I've had this
Just peek behind the curtain. We had this trouble pre-show.
Right before the
And
show
I
started.
I think he's gone, man. I think TJ left the
building. I will say this, Ant. I mean, obviously you have the parochial, you have the public school like conversation, and one thing that I think is special when you see public teams have success.
Like
we got 2 words.
When you have teams like Canfield have success, I think it's special because you have a group of kids that have grown up together, and things like that. And I think like those type of stories are fun to see, and I think that's where like the difference is in a way. And,
but a lot of these Mooney kids have grown up together too.
Yeah,
they went through St. Christine's, and they're a Mooney family that have alum, that are parents or alum that are aunts and uncles. So I think when you're talking about these parochial schools, I think some of that gets lost. Like some of these people think, well, you just went there for football. We went there because my dad went there, my mom went there, my aunt and uncle went there. We're proud to be a part of this, family of tradition that is with a Cardinal Mooney or with an Ursuline or with, insert your parochial school here. So it's not necessarily just, well, I went there to play football.
Yeah. DJ, you back?
Nope.
So I wasn't sure. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting conversation that happens year after year, and it just continues to happen, no matter who's involved. And obviously,
I just think the saddest part is what I said, where people can't get behind local kids because they're just too caught up in the Mooney stigma. And I didn't like the fact that I saw a lot of snickering and kind of, oh, you see what happened to Mooney, just because it was Mooney, and it wouldn't have happened if it was Girard playing or Poland playing or South Range playing. It would have been a much more attitude from the community. Not universally. I'm not like throwing everybody in the bus. It's just a majority, or what you could say, the comments that we did see on our posts and stuff.
Yeah, you would like to see all teams receive like the support as they go on, and as they get deeper into the playoffs and everything like that, for sure.
I guess before we move on to more, Greg, that is the bow of the high school football season. Do you have any last thoughts on the football season as we kind of reflect and put a bow on high school football in the area and on YSN?
I mean, obviously, it was awesome. Obviously, first year here at YSN, it was awesome to see, all the teams have the success. Obviously, throughout this course of the year, you see stories start to develop. You see teams start to, make a name for themselves. Obviously, Canfield at the beginning of the year, they were one of the teams that, we kind of didn't really know about, and they come out and go 9-1 in the regular season, undefeated until week 10. Just a great story there. And then you see teams like Girard led by, a sophomore quarterback who, in my opinion, I don't know about you, Anthony, but might have got snubbed in the Mr. Ohio finalists. I mean, obviously it's hard to kind of get recognized in that group as a sophomore, but you got to give all the props to AJ Pearson this year for what he was able to do over at Girard and kind of lead the Indians to the success that they had this year. Obviously surrounded by a very talented senior class there for the Indians, and Alan Hess Cardona and Sam Scott and, a bunch of other guys. But high school football is a special thing. I love covering it. I obviously, like I said, I didn't play football in high school. I was too injury prone as a kid. My mom never let it happen, figuring I'd end up in the hospital once or twice throughout the year. But to cover it from the sidelines, to have a chance to call games and everything like that this year was awesome. It was awesome to see. I got to call a bunch of close games this year. Canfield Boardman Poland, Girard,
Mhm.
East Howland, which was, obviously two teams that weren't at like the top of our conversation list all year, but had a great game coming down to the wire, and a bunch of other games. And it was just fun to watch. Obviously, kids were able to leave their all out on the field this year. And it was fun, and I gotta thank you, DJ, and all the other guys behind the scenes and everything like that for bringing me in and allowing me to contribute in every way I could. Allow me to get a little creative on the sidelines throughout the playoffs and everything like that. And it was fun to do. It was fun to watch, and I'm excited for round 2 next year. That's for sure.
Well, don't go to football so fast, my friend.
I'm not going anywhere.
That's right, baby. That's right. And I'll say it again. I thought and this is going to be, hopefully I don't make you blush too much, but this is a situation where the second I met you,
Mm-hmm.
you impressed me, like literally knocked my socks off with the IQ that you have in football. Your work ethic is very, 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 I love it. It's you're passionate about this area. You're not even from the area, which kind of threw me for a loop. But what you try to do, your vision of what you want to do lined up perfectly. In a synergy with what we're trying to do. And I might have told you, the second that we can get you and pull you away from what you were doing, we had a couple things lined up, and then fate stepped in and took you away, and then obviously you came back, and I think obviously it was meant to be. Let's just put it that way. It's a perfect marriage. We're so grateful to have you. I think the area is better because you're here, without a doubt. And these awesome pictures that you do, these great stories that you write, the commentating that you do for 10 weeks is second to none. We're so grateful that you're here, and we're not going to let you go anywhere. I think basketball is going to be much better with you around, as well as baseball and softball, and doing some of the things that we've got planned. I'm excited for it. So thank you for sharing your Mondays with us and educating us and giving the world a little bit extra shine here in Youngstown, Ohio, man. We appreciate you, Greg.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, what you guys do is awesome. So I'm glad to be a part of it for sure.
One more thing that I want to talk about before, and I got kicked out, so I have no idea where you guys, did you just finish Mooney?
Yeah, we finished Mooney, and we kind of recapped the last season. Thoughts of high school football. Yeah.
This is one of the ones that I wanted to talk about, Greg, because you said you watched the entire game. Yeah. I was at a 7U basketball championship, so I got to see intermittently and was shocked at the final score. But one of the things that we're so proud about is being one of the feeder and kind of the media of getting some of our guys and gals to go to Youngstown State University, which we're proudly partnered with. And man, this was a tough look for the Penguins on Saturday when number one, we talked about it. You're up against Ohio State, in the ratings duel, and you're playing Yale, an Ivy League school, who, to my knowledge, they've never played before at this point. And then you're up, 35-7?
Yep, 42-14.
42-14, and you lose
28 points.
You lose 43-42. And obviously that's not the way that anybody in the red and white wanted things to go. But what I'm going to say, and you guys can take your own, and this is the words of DJ Yoakley, not even necessarily YSN, is you've got a bunch of people who are, can I say, fair weather fans from that standpoint of they're going to support the team whenever it's, really easy to do so. And I saw some really nasty messages out there on Saturday after the game. And I'm going to tell you, Doug Phillips is a friend. But Doug Phillips, to me, is a guy that brought YSU football back to relevancy through what he's been able to do here. I've sat next to him in a golf cart. I've been with him at dinners. I've had conversations with him via text message. Doug is the kind of guy that you want leading your son into battle, and not just in a football game, but in life, because Doug does more for this community than anybody, I would imagine, other than a guy named Jim Tressel, who he's very close with. He's on that branch of the Tressel tree.
Yeah.
I did not like seeing all these Monday morning quarterbacks, or in this case, Sunday morning quarterbacks, sitting there saying, fire everybody. This is like, grab a headset. And if you think you can do better, step up, maybe start at like the 7U level and like flag football before you start talking about a man who has got more experience at the Division I level and successful programs and successful players than you can ever shake a stick at. And I'm not, most of this are people that aren't coaches, because coaches understand, they get it. There's games like this and these things happen. That's why you play the game. But to go on social media and to just absolutely throw cracks and shade and, to politely say it, take a dump on this guy's front porch is ridiculous. I mean, do we remember where YSU was before Doug Phillips?
Going nowhere fast, that's for sure.
And he's brought this program. We're back in the playoffs, you know, and everybody's going to point to, well, the Tressel years. Jim Tressel was special. I don't think I'm breaking news to anybody here. He is still special as a lieutenant governor of our great state of Ohio. It's ridiculous. Like, everybody is going to live in that Tressel shadow, and if you don't win right away, you're a loser and get out of town. We've had Haycock. The name escapes me right. I mean, Pelini. We've had great coaches who were unable to be successful here, and we get a successful coach, and we're just going to beat him down because he didn't win a national title. I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think that the social media, again, has made people feel like they're bigger and badder and better than they are. I tell people all the time, don't say anything on social media they wouldn't say to somebody's face.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that has become the norm in sports culture. I think, especially when you talk about college and professional sports, we are so quick to just say, fire this coach, and we can just hit send. And we don't think about, hey, would I say that to him if I met him, if I shook his hand, if I knew this guy? Would I call him up and be like, hey, that game sucked. It's all on you. You should be fired. Like, I don't think you'd even say that over the phone. Forget face-to-face. Like, if you have to have that guy's reaction right in front of you, I don't think you'd say it. And that's the shame. Look, you look at a game like this, it brings up emotions. When you lose this way, it's going to be very emotional. There's going to be people that are very upset about having a 42-14 lead and then giving it up. But no one's more upset, I guarantee you, than Doug Phillips and the players and the coaches. Like, they put a lot into this game, more than the people calling for their jobs who told them all week, Ohio State is more important than you. You should be put on the back burner. We're going to watch Ohio State on TV, who we have no connection to for the most part. We don't know any of the players. We don't know any of the coaches. We're just kind of Ohio State fans. And a lot of those people didn't even go to Ohio State, which is kind of a DJ argument. But you have no connection to that school, and you've been telling them all week, you're less important than Ohio State. But then all of a sudden when this happens, well, fire Coach Phillips. Well, you know what? You didn't really pour that effort into the game to be able to have that opinion, in my humble opinion. If you didn't really, one, if you didn't show up to the game, but two, if you've been telling YSU all week that Ohio State is more important than you, and then all of a sudden you want to be emotionally invested in the game because it didn't go out their way, I can't ride with you on that one.
Greg,
yeah, I mean, just
you've seen this from coast to coast. I mean, what's your take on some of the backlash that specifically Doug Phillips is handling as part of the YSU coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's tough. I mean, you blow a 28-point lead, it's tough. And, as the head coach of the football program, you're going to get a brunt of the toxicity that comes with social media and everything like that. It's the nature of the beast, but it's not always generally needed. Obviously there's a lot of emotions. Emotions are running high after a loss like this, especially after, how they finished off the regular season with a bunch of big wins. I mean, this is a team that went into UNI and won for the first time in 26 years or something like that, like snapped a huge long streak. And so you've obviously seen those accomplishments throughout the course of his tenure here at Youngstown State, and he's building something. One of the comments that I saw over the course of the weekend was, YSU has to look at the Dakotas and what they've done over their successful years and kind of try to replicate that. And I can tell you from, covering the team and being around people who have covered the team, that's what Doug Phillips has tried to do here at YSU. I mean, you see him going out and getting the biggest and meanest and, talented linemen to build up the trenches and everything like that. And then look at the decisions he's made. Obviously, a couple of years ago, he switched over to, Salem alum Mitch Davidson, who, went on to have a special season. You look at Bryce Oliver, who's with the Tennessee Titans now, and things like that. You have to make those decisions to have success. And he went out on a limb, made a decision to switch to Mitch Davidson, and look at the success that it led to. Obviously, it didn't lead to a national championship or anything, but it got them back into the playoffs. And then, one thing that I like to look at, and obviously, we've seen Bo Brungard have a bunch of success at the high school level, and he comes out, and when he was getting recruited, no one really wanted to give him a look as a quarterback. Obviously, he stays home at YSU and eventually gets his shot, and he's up for the Walter Payton Award as one of the the best FCS players in the country. And obviously he's proving a lot of people wrong with his play on the field, and that's Doug Phillips. That's his decision to make those choices and put people in the correct positions to have success, and he's done that. So obviously, like I said, it's an emotional loss and everything like that, and the comments aren't needed. He's turned the program around. Obviously, they haven't won a national championship or anything, but they're in a better place than where they were. And what's the age-old saying? When you take over something, leave it in a better place than what you got it as. And he's done that so far, and I don't think he's necessarily in a position to be fired or anything like that. I don't think he should be. But obviously, as the success continues to happen, the expectations for the program become higher and higher, and I think they'll eventually live up to them with what they've had.
I think the frustrating part for me more than anything is that you see the argument, if you want to call it that, of people saying, "Well, look what he's making. Look at how much money this person brings in, and how it's." I don't buy that. I don't in the world we live in. It's based on value, right? We talk about with YSN, it's based on advertising, and someone sees value in what we do and who we reach and who we're in front of, so they're willing to pay X amount of dollars. That's life in general, right? If someone doesn't see the value, they're not going to extend you a 6-figure salary or whatever it may be, right? You are what you are valued at. And if you don't feel like that's the correct equation, then you go on to the next job. I hate when people sit there and go, well, he's making X amount. This is any like we're talking about D1, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like FBS, FCS, all that stuff, pro, high school, whatever it may be. Listen, I don't care who you are. You have no right to say this person isn't worth this amount of money if someone else does. That's what drives me crazy. Because that person, you don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they've been able to garner and what kind of skills they're equipped with that ultimately lead to better leaders. Like, here's my end all be all. And this is coming, and again, this is going to be from a dad's perspective. I don't care if you win diddly jack at the high school level, at the middle school level, even at the college level. If you equip my son or my daughter for life, that's the ultimate job. College is a little bit different because obviously you're in a situation where you're not a college, or you're not a lot of times you're not a professor, or you're not a teacher or an educator. Your job is to coach that particular sport. I get it. But how do you sit there after looking at the body of work and say, at Doug Phillips especially, and say that guy is not worth what Youngstown State is? Look what they've done in the past, right? Look at the body of work and you can't tell me that a lot of those men are not better men because of Doug Phillips and that coaching staff. I am completely on board with that coaching staff, what they've been able to do, the decisions that they've made. Are they going to get them all right? No. Who does? There's only been one perfect person on this earth. I wasn't it, and neither were you. So I don't think that people, especially, this is the one that gets me. If you're in the media, and I know we're a different medium and a different platform, and we're actively supporting, YSU and Westminster and the schools that we are partnered with. But here's what bugs me is if you're in the media, what are you doing saying fire everybody? What are you doing saying this, everybody's got to go, and this is a disgrace, an embarrassment? If you're in the media, and I'm going to use the air quotes a couple times here, you've got to have some journalistic integrity, because there's journalists like Greg McAfee and people that have been around the block and understand what media means and journalism means. And then there's just a-holes with a keyboard. And there's really no in between.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't. And it pisses me off to no end of people that try to be members of the media, fail miserably, and then play victim whenever everybody says, oh, well, you can do it. Like, it's moments like this. And this is a microcosm of the entirety of these people who think they're media members just because they get a press pass, just because they get okay. It drives me ballistic. It makes the rest of us look like absolute shit. And I apologize for my language, but that's what it makes it look like. The hard work, the integrity, the long hours, all that stuff is absolutely thrown by the wayside because one moron decides that he's going to go on and he's going to speak on behalf of all of Youngstown or all of the fans, or he doesn't even know what he is. He has no idea, but he's going to mark himself as a member of the media. And people like Bob Hannon, Dana Balish, right? Ryan Allison, Chad Krasinski, those people are grouped in with this idiot, whether they like it or not. And I know I'm breaking down the fourth wall here, but at the end of the day, like, you have this one guy who has followers and continues to claim that he's a member of the media and sports journalism piece of Youngstown, Ohio, and he does this. This dude has got to go. And for so many different reasons, not just this one. This is the tip of the iceberg. And if he wants to decide that he wants to be a member of the media, he's got to start making better decisions, including treating people who give you a media pass personally with a lot more respect and credibility than calling for their job on a almost annual basis at this point. This dude sucks. End of rant. Sorry. There was going to be a question in there. I'm like, I probably shouldn't pass the loaf of bread to Greg on this point. Hot potato. But I mean, Greg, you have a lot more. I want to say credibility. That's part of it. You have a lot more degrees in this than me, and you obviously teach and educate people that are looking to get degrees in journalism. For you to be a journalism major or go after a degree in journalism, and then there's people like this out there. What do you tell your students about people in the way of this?
You have to be responsible with your following, first of all. Like that's the big thing. Like you're the connection between the readers and the program. And you have to be responsible and diligent to what you do every day. And I think this comes from, a broader conversation that's become a topic in media in general over the past, 10, 15 years with the rise of social media and everything like that. It turns, people from, guys like me who went to school and, got a degree in journalism and everything like that to there's really like you said, DJ, we kind of get grouped in, with people who are just, behind a keyboard and they don't have, there's no responsibility, from, when I was, covering the Pirates or covering the Steelers and everything like that, there's ways to, respect your sources and respect the people you cover and the people, the players that you talk to on a daily basis. Like there was conversations where, So, like, for example, the Pirates were in New York this year, playing the Mets, and there was a play up the middle. IKF, missed a grounder. It was a huge moment in the game. And it looked like that was an error on IKF. It ended up hitting the back of the base and bounced over his glove and everything like that. And you can't just go out and tear up the player, on social media and in the entertainment atmosphere, whatever you want to call it. Because I got to go into but I'm going to go into the locker room and I'm going to ask, or the clubhouse, and I'm going to ask him what happened. Yeah. And because I saw it this way, and what was his viewpoint on it. And when the play happened, I didn't see the ball hit the base. And so I go into the clubhouse after the game and I ask him about it, and he explains the whole conversation. He explains the whole situation and everything like that. And you get a different perspective. For the people like the person you're talking about, DJ, they're not necessarily, around the team. They don't have to, value those relationships with the coach or with the players or anything like that. They feel like they can just go out and say whatever they want and do that type of thing. And it's a general conversation that has happened in media these days, where you have people who went to school for journalism and they learn about all these type of things. Then you have people who are just sitting behind a keyboard, and you've seen players say it all the time, where it's keyboard warriors. They're sitting in their mom's basement and saying whatever they want to do. So it's definitely something that comes up in conversation a lot and everything's like that. And the one thing I tell students and everything is you got to respect who you cover on a daily basis, who you talk to on a daily basis, and you got to you have a responsibility to portray the right message. And obviously there are things like editorials and opinion editorials that in the columns that you can obviously use your opinion and use your voice, but I think there's a responsibility in doing that as well, and you have to do it the right way. And I think there are certain people who don't do it the right way. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to the Lane Kiffin culture, the Lane Kiffin situation over the course.
Did you see the guy that called him a hoe?
Yeah,
and then had to go in the press conference and interview him. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. But I think obviously is. You can look through social media and people will say, "Oh, this connects." Like this is that reference makes sense, and to a degree, I get it. But there are also ways to phrase that in different ways to be more responsible.
If you're covering a team, you have to decide if you want to be a fan or a journalist. And I think a lot of people mix those two minds. I think that podcaster was talking like a fan when he should have been talking like a journalist. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why you get in those murky waters where if you're covering a team, especially if you're someone that's interviewing a coach or interviewing players, you can't necessarily get into that I can say anything because I'm a fan water. Because that's where you get into those situations.
Yeah, I mean there's a fine line. And it's like in that situation, I get the reference and everything like that, but I think there's a different way to put it. I think there's different ways to phrase that type of situation. And it clicks headlines and everything like that. Bingo. And there's a different way to phrase it, a different way to portray the message. And I think that's what it comes down to in a way. Like I think social media gives everyone a voice, and everyone can use it in different ways and everything like that. But I think when you're a member of the media, you have a responsibility, and I don't think a lot of people live up to that. I will say that.
Well said. Way better than what I said on my rant.
Sam says, Sam says Barstool culture, but the one thing that I think is a little bit different, I know there's a lot of Barstool doesn't necessarily journalistically cover teams. Like they're not out there doing interviews, they're not out there running the press conferences, so they can get away with some of this kind of stuff when they're on their podcast and they're on they write their editorials, because they're not necessarily in the I almost said realm, and I almost made DJ cringe because he hates that word. They're not necessarily in the world where they're necessarily covering the team in the sense where they have to do the interviews with the coaches, or they have to have interactions and relationships with these coaches, so they can get away with some of that stuff, but even they do a good job of knowing where that line is and pushing the envelope to where they can still be considered members of the quote unquote media.
Well, and I'm not going to pat us on the back, but we were in a scenario where there was a few people. You got to go, don't you?
Yeah, I got to go to class. I lost track of time.
we did too.
See, thank you very much.
All right, I'll see you later, guys. Have a good time.
You too, pal. I knew it.
He was
I knew
getting
he had to go.
nervous.
I agree with Greg wholeheartedly. This was a tough one for me to choke down this weekend because I wanted to take my following socially and just to redirect it, right? But instead, I texted Doug Phillips and I told him, hey, and not that this is what I meant. This is a conversation between Doug and I, very short conversation, but I wanted to tell him how much he meant to this area, what he meant to this region, how I'm proud of him for what he's been able to do. And I can't imagine that it's going to be it shouldn't be a hot seat. It shouldn't be a hot seat. And I know I'm kind of getting out over my skis a little bit, but what he's been able to do in the grand scheme of things is bring relevancy back to YSU football, which is where we wanted to be, right? Now you build on it. But someone who was not a member, quote unquote, of the media, someone who, doesn't do what the media does, but he just tells scores essentially, and then he's out of business, kind of back in business, and then out of it. It's just very, I'll leave it there. You don't matter anymore. And I know that, well, if he doesn't matter, why are you talking about? I get it, but like there's still people that are taking what he's talking about, retweeting it, all this stuff. And he'll be the same guy that asked for a media pass next year for the sidelines. The same sidelines he's been kicked off for wearing inappropriate gear for a YSU football game. So it's, to me, it's incredibly slap in the face of a lot of people at Youngstown State University that, for good reason, take their job very seriously because they're very good at their jobs, not just the coaching staff of YSU. Fire everybody.
Fire.
Okay, so when you say fire everybody, who does that not include, Anthony? Like, who does that? What's the umbrella there? Who's outside of the umbrella?
What's funny is that, the people that say he's not worth what they're paying him, they probably have to pay him a little bit more to fire him at this point before his contract was up. So you're saying he's not worth the money he's getting now for being in the job, but he is worth even more money just to get rid of. That's a bold statement there.
But again, it's the same people that were inconvenienced for a noon kickoff because it's the same time as Ohio State, but they don't want to be inconvenienced for a new coach, a new coach search.
Right.
And I say this as I wear my Steelers gear. I say this 100%. Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And I've had this conversation with many people. If you are in the camp of get rid of that coach, get rid of that staff, get rid of that person, boy, you better be sure that there is somebody out there that can not only fill those shoes, but can exceed the limitations that you set on them or the expectations that you give them. Because otherwise, it's going to be the Cleveland Browns coaching cycle, right? And quarterback cycle. It's just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And Anthony, coincidentally, I hate to do this, it's the Browns fan. It's people that are Browns fans that are doing this to their other teams. They're like, whoa, let's just get rid of them because there's another guy out there and another guy out there and another guy. Where the hell are they? Where are they? And are they going to take pride, or is this a stepping stone? Because that's another thing, right? Because there can be an up-and-coming coach, and they can get into that position, whether it be YSU or otherwise, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers. But then they're just going to leave for greener pastures or more money, right? Like, you got a guy that was raised here, that was born here, that like wants to be here. His family is here. And he's doing a great job turning it around. And guess what? Tough game. That's why they play it, right? Because everything on paper said we were going to crush these dudes at Yale, minus the IQ test. They probably beat us in that.
Browns fan getting a little nervous with Sam. Sam's like, easy now.
Well, but it's true.
Yep.
There's with fans that have zero stability, they feel like zero stability is the way to be. That's the answer.
Right.
You know, Kevin Stefanski wins 2 Coach of the Years, and they want to get rid of him. Like, I don't know if it was his call to get Deshaun Watson in town, but seems like after that decision, things kind of went on a flush down the toilet. And now Steelers fans want to sit there and be like, get rid of Tomlin, get rid of Tomlin, get rid of Tomlin. Like, coaches should get paid what they get paid because they have to listen to this garbage. Can you imagine anytime you made a wrong decision? Anytime, Anthony, if you had a bad broadcast, you had to look over your shoulder and a coach or a GM or an owner is going to be like, you're gone, pal. You should have had a better broadcast. Beaver Local versus Crestview. You're gone. See you later.
You're out.
Can you imagine that?
I'd be fired a long time ago.
I would be fired from my own company. And most of these people, here's what I'm going to say. I'll give the benefit of the doubt, even though I know it's not. I'll give the benefit of the doubt to that person who had that tweet, who had that, and it wasn't just a tweet, it was all over social media. Like every single one, like he hoot-tweeted it to every single one. I'll give the benefit of the doubt that it was a bad day, right? It was frustration. It was whatever. You're fired. Like, you're gone. Because if you did that at our company and you went after a coach like that in a public fashion, we'll see you later. It's happened before.
I was about to say it's happened.
On multiple occasions. And when there's nobody to hold you accountable, right? Mm-hmm. Just delete the tweet. Oh, it never happened. No, I can promise you I've got screenshots of it from people sending it to me asking what this guy thinks he's doing. I'm not going to hold judgment. You're a butthole. Like that's not a judgment. That's fact at this point, because this isn't the first time that something like this has happened. I'm glad that he's doing it to a person over the age of 18, because that's happened before too. And it's despicable. Mm-hmm. I know that there's people out there that this is what they have to talk about because it's a talk show and they want to get callers in. Well, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. That wasn't the case at all. This was just simply, as Greg said, for the tweets, for the clicks, for that, to get his name out there again. I hope it costs him dearly, to the point where, like he used to have to do, he's going to have to do it from the stands. Wear his varsity jacket.
Actually pay to get in.
Yeah, pay to get in and do it from the stands. Because if you're not going to show professionalism, why should they? Why should they? And I know I can probably eat a piece of that sandwich too right now with the professionalism that I've shown on this, but I'm not asked to be the defender of Coach Phillips. I'm not asked to be a defender of Youngstown State football. But it's funny, every time they show us a little bit of grace and they ask us and they are kind enough to allow us to do what we do at YSN for YSU. There's one guy that's always the first to say they don't do anything. One guy. And this is what he does to them. So good luck to him. Good, like, we have never been associated. We will never be associated. The dude is an absolute fraud. I can go deeper and deeper and deeper into that dive, but
I think someone likes your jersey.
Will Howard, number 1 quarterback, Pittsburgh Steelers. We're just waiting. Secret weapon.
Before we get
go ahead.
Real quick, on that Yale team, there is a ex-YSN player that we have to kind of tip that out to and congratulate. Eden Stevens from LeBray. Is on that Yale football team, and he's moving on. So congratulations to Aiden in representing the YSN brand and the Trumbull County as well. Love to see YSN players succeed. So
we love it. There's nothing better. There's nothing better, because it's one of those things that we can always say we knew him when, or we knew her when. Hey, ACC champion, we have to showcase here, right?
Let's go.
Abby
Now
M.
number one seed in the bracket, one of 4 1 seeds in the volleyball bracket. They start their run on Friday against UMBC, and they're hosting a region, so they'll be hosting as well on Saturday if they win on Friday, which I would be extremely shocked if they didn't. So if you're a Pitt fan or you're a volleyball fan, I don't remember if they host the next round, if the next round is on campus or not. I think it is. So you have maybe 2 more chances to see Pitt volleyball before they go on to, Elite Eight, Final Four, hopefully a national championship, because that Pitt team is pretty dang good.
I almost said something on social media the other day because I saw they beat Georgia Tech. Did they not?
They did. They went to Atlanta and they swept the Yellow Jackets for the ACC championship.
Almost said a little something. I held back.
I got it.
I was cordial.
I was happy that we still got in. Georgia Tech got into the tournament, and I'm proud of my friends on that team, and I'm proud of Abby. And I made that expression too. I made sure to message her real quick and say, hey, this is awesome, and it is awesome. I appreciate Pitt, and I appreciate Georgia Tech, and I'm glad they're both in.
Yeah. Hey, go Pitt, go Georgia Tech. I'm picking Abby Emsch over everybody every single time. Every single time.
So,
ACC champion. Her holding that trophy, man.
yep.
That was
She got
a
the
proud
trophy.
moment. Proud moment. That was awesome. There's nothing better than seeing the success of I'll say the kids, the student athletes that we cover since, I would say yay high, but I don't think Abby Emsch was ever yay high. I mean, she's always been tall and she's always been successful, and just I hope she wins everything she possibly can. I hope all our athletes win everything they possibly can, including the ones at YSU, where they can go and have the best lives they possibly can. Speaking of, Anthony, before we go, there's one thing we got to do, because this show got away from us, but we had a little bit of a break. So one thing we have to do, Big Dogs of the Year are here. They are crowned. We're going to unveil them right now on this show. We are so proud. Hundreds of thousands of votes poured in last week. And we have 2 winners. One for the boys in football, one for the girls in volleyball. And the volleyball winner is... Congratulations, Landry. Unbelievable. Columbiana showed up to vote. My goodness, did they show up to vote. She was the
more
week
than
1
they did
winner
last
of Big Dogs. Say what?
I said even more than they did in the semifinals. They kind of put it into overdrive when they got into the finals for Big Dog of the Year.
Yeah, they kicked it into overdrive, as they normally do. Columbiana is certainly a voting school in a voting community when it comes to it. And Landry is and I don't know if you can see that or not. It's kind of covered up. Landry Smith, your winner, 500 kills on her career, over 500 kills on her career.
Yep.
She was able to establish that this year, and certainly well deserving of the Big Dog of the Year in volleyball. Congratulations to the young lady from Columbiana. And for football, Girard's Alan Hess Cardona. Congratulations, Big Dog of the Year in football. Week 10. So we had both ends of the spectrum here, Ian. Week 1 and week 10. So, usually it's somewhere in the middle, but this time, no such luck, as the Girard Indian defensive standout, absolute dog, comes through and gets a big win, and one that very deserving. That young man, a lot of the talk is going to be from, AJ Pearson and Mario Lipinski and, some of the great players in Girard. Defense doesn't always garner headlines, but without Alan Hess Cardona, AHC, as we like to call him here on YSN, I don't think Girard's able to do some of the things that they did all the way up to the regional championship.
Remember who made that stop when Poland went for 2 to take the lead in the playoff game?
AHC.
AHC. So, you could argue, even though there was still time left in that game, you could argue if he doesn't make that stop, Poland wins that game, and they're the ones moving on to the playoffs. So, big players, big moments. And he definitely stepped up in every big moment he was asked for.
Derp shows up at the end of the show, which is interesting because we talked about him earlier. Allen is a dog. He will definitely be missed next year defensively. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've sat there and just like, number 5 is through. Number 5 is through. Number 5 is through. And he's just, stacking tackles like they're pancakes and TFLs nonetheless. He was a game changer on defense and certainly deserves the big dog of the year presented by Baird Brothers. We want to thank Baird Brothers for their sponsorship, for their backing of us all season long, all year long, really. Because, hey, Ant, I don't know if you know this. Big Dogs basketball coming out this week, week 1,
coming
baby.
Out, let's go. We timed it up perfectly. You know what else is coming out pretty soon, DJ, is our postseason award for football. Now that football is wrapped up in the season.
Yeah.
So
we're still trying to tie that string. Boy, oh boy.
We got offensive player of the year, defensive MVP, coach, team. So we'll have all that coach, coming out, team, I bet.
Newcomer.
We
freshman. Can't do freshmen anymore because there's not always freshmen to choose from. And
right. So we just
newcomer.
It could be a freshman. Doesn't mean it can't be a freshman. Could be a sophomore that is in his first year of varsity, or even like a junior that hadn't played varsity before and kind of stepped onto the scene, did a lot of big things.
We're taking some heat for that. I know it. I know. Hey, listen, it's just there's more of a pool to choose from when it's newcomer of the year as opposed to freshman, because situations are different in every school. And being that we covered Division II all the way to Division VII, like some of these D2s will never get a freshman in that. So we're trying to make it even as we can. We've had people that are like, hey, you should do one for every division. No, that is a lot of work. And I think that having a collection of, hey, this person's working hard, because they don't get a trophy. It's just one of those things like they get acknowledged. Tribal chief.
We don't even print out certificates.
We should, with like the little officer bear on it. Like, congratulations, newcomer of the year with an officer bear on it. Please. Hey, we joke, but that's what some of these conferences do. They send a certificate over and they make the district print them and give them to the athlete, which I will bite my tongue on that one. But I digress. Anthony, welcome back, pal.
Thank you, buddy. It's been
welcome back.
It's going to be a good week. We have Josh Upshire coming on tomorrow at 12:15 to talk about the Badger boys season. Wrestling Wednesday starts on Wednesday with Gary Altizer. So a good week coming up. Yeah, a good week.
Are you guys going to wrestle?
We're going to wrestle live on the air.
Oh, that would be hilarious. How fast do you think Gary could tap you out?
Fast. Very fast. Like Ronda Rousey, 16 seconds fast.
You couldn't name one guy wrestler?
No. Not like I was thinking UFC. I wasn't thinking like I was thinking like back when she would win her UFC fights in like 15 seconds, because it was ridiculous.
We call that a squash
usually
match.
with professional wrestling, they want to draw that out. So there's not a lot of quick matches, and if I'm not mistaken, like they don't have any that are like this guy just.
No, that's in the WWE. They try to draw it out.
Right. So when you're talking UFC,
like whatever you can get.
UFC, it's like, hey, let's go.
If you get your face pounded in, like, there's a good chance you lose.
There's so many people that were upset, like they paid pay-per-view for a 15-second fight. It's like, hey, that's the sport. You got to end it as quick as you can, so you're not.
That's the Mike Tyson stuff, right?
You know,
people hated Mike Tyson fights and loved them at the same time.
Right.
The guy that was footing the bill hated it, but the guy that was just there because his buddy was getting it on HBO loved it. That's why you watch WWE. You're guaranteed to get to about 11 o'clock. We're getting there, baby. Because they gotta entertain. Which, by the way, WWE is fire right now.
How was
Absolute
the?
fire.
I already forgot. I saw so many advertisements for it, and I already forgot what it was called over the weekend.
Survivor Series,
Yeah, Survivor Series
War Games.
with the tribal chief.
I will say this: I was a little disappointed as someone who owns every single app or platform streaming except ESPN. I was a little hacked off. I was a little hacked off because the ESPN's $30 a month. Not worth it to me. To me, a guy who loves sports, I don't know who's paying for that, but God bless you. But I've got literally everything else, and I watched the clips on WWE social media like immediately after they were posted. I'm like, well, okay, this is just as good. I was sad, dude. And it's December 1st, 2025. You know what that means? We have 12 days left in John Cena's career.
Oh,
Up there, you'll find all kinds of John Cena stuff. And I listen, I've loved John Cena for as long as I can remember, back into college. Right after the Rock and the Stone Cold era, the D-Generation X era, I picked my guy. I backed that horse, John Cena. I might very well shed a lot of tears when it comes to Saturday night's main event coming up in 12 days. There will be a spark about John Cena. There's no doubt. Just got to prepare it.
part of
Have
one
you
of the
ever had
best
that
prank
situation?
calls in ever recorded in human history.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
And his name's John Cena.
Who's been out there that's retired that you? I mean, Ben Roethlisberger was number one for me. Like that was tough to watch because they followed him all around the stadium. John Cena is going to be probably right over top of him. But like, have you ever had a player or someone you're a huge fan of hang it up and?
Let me. I grew up when I was a Chiefs fan, but he was already towards the end of his career, so I think you kind of knew it was coming. But like Marcus Allen, when he came to the Chiefs and kind of revitalized his career and proved everyone that he wasn't washed like the Raiders kind of thought he was, and kind of broke a lot of records with Kansas City. That was one, but I was so young. I remember because I mean, when we this is crazy because what Patrick Mahomes did, but when we got rid of Alex Smith and we kind of traded him away, because you got to remember before Alex Smith got there, the Chiefs weren't doing anything. We weren't even getting in the playoffs. So the fact that he was taking us to the playoffs every year, we were just like, yeah, you know what, that was, but it dissolved pretty quickly.
Yeah, you're probably this guy stinks.
That one dissolved pretty quickly, but it was one of those ones where you shake your head wondering like, what are we doing for this rookie that's not proven at all? We're getting rid of a guy, and then all of a sudden, you know, Patrick does what Patrick does, and
let me just dust off this 18 uniform here.
Right. Yeah, that's the proof. Like you never know. You know, you just never know who's going to be that guy that comes in and is in the right, right organization with the right coaching staff, right people around him. You just don't know who that guy is going to be. And that's why I think there's a lot of fun in like organizations that are bringing in like a new guy. Like, hey, who's this guy going to be? Drake May for the Patriots right now is, on cloud 9.
Danny Dimes,
even though he's hurt right now, he's kind of rejuvenating his career. The Panthers are somehow a playoff team right now with Bryce Young. You just don't know who that guy is going to be.
God. I mean, the Steelers stink right now, man. Like, I'll be honest. Like, they're tough to watch. And yesterday was very challenging. And you and I both had tough football weekends from that standpoint. But goodness gracious, dude. Like, the people, not to jump back into the conversation, but like booing Renegade. Like, funny. I get it. I get it. But like, I'm in that camp of, okay, maybe it's time to move. Like, sometimes it's that, hey, it's best for us, it's best for you kind of thing. And you mutually kind of blossom together and you move on from each other with a still appreciation.
Mhm.
But like the whole like off with your head thing is, boy,
Fans get spoiled a lot. I mean, like there are Kansas City people that are like, fire Andy Reid. It's like, wait, you just went to 4 out of the last 6 Super Bowls, and you want to fire the guy because we're having 1 year where we're not doing great?
like
I don't
there's in the
Fans are
Steelers,
spoiled. Fans
they're
are
always
spoiled.
like, well, yeah, and it's like, oh, we'll just pull some special teams coach from out of the blue, and he'll be what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, we're good on special teams. We're all right. We don't need someone to come in here and like our offense stinks.
Get that Brown special teams coach.
Oh boy. And that's
He'll teach
the
people how
problem.
to catch a punt out of bounds.
We're so mixed up here that like the Browns, like the Steelers fans, like all they know is like what the Browns are going through, and we're so terrified of going through what they've gone through over the last 30 years
Hmm.
that they're like, well, we just can't do that. But they want to just fire everybody. Like Matt Canada, and I was in that crowd. From that standpoint. Like, if you're not going to better, like, you're almost tempting fate at that point. But Jiminy Christmas, like, now you have given the crowd power, that, or at least they feel like they have power to have chance of stay on around the stadium of fire Tomlin and booing Renegade. Like, what do you do now? What do you do? Like, sell the team? Like, fans think that they can get Bob Nutting to sell the Pittsburgh Pirates. You think he's just going to wake up one day and be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should sell the team. Everybody's saying I should sell the team. He's a billionaire. Like the dude that, you know, can barely afford Primanti's. Like, you think he's going to take advice from that guy?
Because you've done
Goodness
so well with
gracious.
your financial life.
Well, that's it. And like, again, like, you got to tip your cap to him because he was able to buy a professional sports team. Like, I would love that. I would love to be like, in this sense, Mark Cuban, and just buy my favorite team and be like, guess what? We're going to put a ton of money into this and we're going to reap the benefits. It's not feasible. Like, they're billions and billions of dollars right now. Just impossible to do unless you're a Green Bay Packer fan. Then, like you could have been an owner of the team, Anthony.
Yeah, the city owns the team in Green Bay.
Oh boy,
Look at Hughes.
Here-
He's coming in.
here we go.
He's watching.
All right. Hughes, I stand by what I said. Like, just find a different team. or like delete your account and I'll give you $20 straight up cash money. Like, I try so hard because I know as soon as I get on social media, the algorithm gods of Facebook are just going to put Eric Hughes right in front. And he knows it too. And I feel like he's always just baiting me. And I'm
And it
like,
works.
every
It works.
time. And I'm like, don't do it. And then he, like, I was good. He said a couple things yesterday. And I love Eric Hughes. He's a great human being. I want to murder him on Sundays. Just absolutely. I said it. Muck duck. I want to muck duck him on Sundays. He knows the buttons to push. And like, if you're that miserable as a fan, why do you do it? Like, it's like you just like to complain. Like, I don't know why you, like, there's misery in losses. And then there's like, I don't know why I watch this. Neither does anybody else. Nobody else knows why. Like, he's a New York Mets fan. And then
I'll
a
give
Pittsburgh
Eric Hughes
Steelers fan.
some advice. There was a point in my life when I had to realize that being a fan of a team or being a fan of sports should be fun. And I was getting too like if my team would lose, I would be like a different person for 2 days, where I just didn't want to talk to people or I'd be short with people. Like, there's a moment in your life, and maybe Eric Hughes isn't there yet, but there's a moment in your life when you realize you can have fun rooting for your team and not be happy that they lost without it like turning you into the Grinch that stole Christmas.
I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. When I realized, and help me, like, when I realized they're not paying my salary and they have nothing to do with my actual happiness of who,
Right.
other than, hey, on Sunday, it's a bummer that they lose. Like you're right, but you feel devastation.
Oh yeah.
But that's why they call sports fans, short for fanatics. And
Mhm.
but like there comes a time where in your maturity that you go, hey, sun's still going to come out tomorrow.
Mhm.
I don't know that it even matters in the grand scheme of things. And oh, by the way, I was watching on TV. I didn't spend $400 for a seat, you know, or a PSL or anything like that.
Right.
Like I get being frustrated, like the Ohio State, Michigan stuff, as not being that fan anymore. Like I stood up on my morals and my rights. Like it's funny now to see how I used to act. Like Sam is like where I was when Jim Tressel was the coach, and I was like live hard, die hard with Ohio State, and now I'm like, dude, these people,
Mhm.
they didn't go there. There's these psychopaths that are like, we're doing this for Ohio. Like we are not going to war with Michigan. Like that is not actually. Probably want them in our foxhole if we go to war with any other country because
Right.
they build everything there.
Right.
I don't know. They've got GM and Ford. Hey guys, remember all that crap we talked? Come with us. Let's build some tanks.
We need a whole lot of army vehicles pronto, and the only place to get them is Michigan.
Yeah, unless they need stupid poisonous nuts. Like they don't really need Ohio. They're just like, good luck, guys.
we don't. They don't even need steel from us anymore.
No, whoever gets Texas wins. That's all I'm saying. So like, I'm not saying let's play nice in the sandbox, but like let's like the people that are like, I won't even speak to someone if they're from Michigan or if they've driven through Michigan. Like, relax. Or like the people on social media that do like the no M's on Michigan week.
That's what, like, that's fun. That's fun. There's like, but when you're vandalizing stuff, that's not fun. But like the gimmicky kind of sides of the rivalry are fun. When you take it to the, I'm not going to talk to you because you're from Michigan. Not even like if you root Michigan. I remember one of my brother's buddies was in Columbus for Michigan, Ohio State. He went to Mount Union. So he had a purple M on his car. His car got flipped. His car got flipped.
Probably by 4 guys that didn't even go to Ohio State. You know?
So,
I went to Mercyhurst.
Screw the M.
Oh, sorry. I went to Mercyhurst. like, relax. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, I love the intensity because it makes. Because you know, Anthony, there's one guy that flipped that car over. He goes, "Oh crap, that wasn't."
That wasn't a Michigan M.
Oh, that's Mountain Union. They're in Ohio. Like, oh gosh, like I appreciate the intensity. I do. Man, some of these people are psycho because some of these people really mean it, dude. Like I had a friend that was like, I went on a date. Girl said she was born in Michigan, but she spent the rest of her days in Ohio. I broke up with her right there. I was like, you weren't dating technically. You guys were on a date, and your first date, and you asked her where she was from, and she said I was from Dearborn or someplace like. I promised my parents I would never date anybody from Michigan. Okay, this girl could have been the woman of your dreams. And you're gonna break up with her because she's from a state, not out of the country, a state that you don't like because of a football team, and a university. By the way, I went to Ohio Northern, Anthony, which is on the west side of Ada, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
This guy had a date with a girl from Michigan. He didn't even go to Ohio State. He went to Ohio Northern, and I'm like, if they went to Heidelberg or if they went like somewhere. What are we talking about? You chose to go to Ohio Northern, not Ohio State. You could have gone there. It's a state university, very prestigious. You can probably get a great job from there, as you can at most universities and colleges. But that's where I started to be like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, what are you doing? Just from Michigan? That's it?
Not even like Michigan fan. Like I'm just from Michigan. She could have been like a Michigan State fan or not even a fan of a team in Michigan. But you're from Michigan, so
it's my favorite because, like, as a Steeler fan, people are like, "Oh, I would never date a Steeler fan." Okay, cool. Wouldn't date you either, but it's one of those like, why? Like, if like my aunt is a diehard Browns fan, had season tickets. If it weren't for her, I never would have gone to an NFL game. Like she's a diehard Browns fan. I love her. She is as much a part of my family as anybody else. But it's like, can you imagine treating someone completely different? It's like someone you actually love because they root for another team. Like, man alive, that'd be something. But there's people that do it. It's crazy.
It's funny because like when you do have someone that is a part of that rivalry, you can have fun with them on that day. Like you can friendly trash talk, and because you love them, and that's what kind of makes it fun. Like
it's the best.
I have friends that went to Georgia, and when we played Georgia at Georgia Tech, there are texts. There's some trash talk going on, but like we're friends, so it's not like I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, I hate these people." Because
do they ever say, "Hey, we'll beat YSU"?
We'll be. They did like I remember every time I share that post that I announced that I got the job with YSN. There's that Gerard logo, and there's one of my Georgia friends commented on it and said, "Are you okay? Because there's a Georgia logo in that post." And it's always one of those ones that I laugh at when I share it because that was the first comment of that post, and I got a new job. It's like there's a Georgia because Gerard's logo is the Georgia G, so it's fun. It's fun. Shout out to all my peeps.
Hughes is saying he's having more fun trolling people. See, there's a difference. I don't think he's trolling. There is a lot of hot take in those comments. Like there's a lot of like, if he's trolling, he's doing an exceptional job. But like, they're not funny enough to be troll jobs. Like when you're trolling,
Eric Hughes' standard, he is funny. Maybe on like because he's a pretty dry guy, so maybe like that's his level of funny. Like I don't know.
There's just a lot of heat in them. Like there's a lot of heat in those. If it's a troll job, man, he's way above my pay grade. Like it's just wow. But Anthony, I'm not kidding you. Every single time, I'm like, I'm not getting on social media. I'm not going to do it because I know what's going to be waiting for me right there because Facebook and stupid Mark Zuckerberg knows. I hate Eric Hughes' Facebook. I hate like I love Eric Hughes as like Bruce Wayne, but the Eric Hughes Batman, despise him. Like he puts that cloak on of darkness and boom, scumbag city. And then boom, there it was. I was like, breathe. You've been trained for this. You're an adult. You're 40 years old. You can do this. Scroll past it. It's like he knows that I hit that scroll button and it just hits me with another one. And then I get mad. That's when I get mad. I'm like, dude, this guy's just hooking.
That's it. I'm commenting.
That's it. I've had enough.
How many times you do what I do and like write out the comment and then delete it? Just so you can write it out. That's what I do a lot. I write out the comment.
Yeah. I only do that for, believe it or not, I only do that for YSN stuff. Because if I'm under the YSN banner, it's not just me. You know what I mean? And I've learned that it's not just me even when I do DJ Yoakley social media. It's, that's DJ Yoakley, CEO, founder of YSN. Let's go pound, chip away at YSN because he said this. I'm learning. And I wouldn't send it. And I think Eric feels the same way. I wouldn't send it to Eric if he couldn't take it and he doesn't know that it comes from a place of love because Hughes has crossed over that line a couple times and we've had to be like, bring it on back, homie. Bring it on back. But and it's not like he's doing, it's not like he's doing it. Like, I don't care about his opinion. It's kind of like we're busting chops a little bit, but like, he gets me more than anybody I think ever fired up. And I'm like, he's at this point, like even my wife said, I think he's doing it just to make you mad or just to get a reaction out of you from a social standpoint. And he gets excited. He probably sits there as soon as he sees DJ Yoakley comment on your post and just this Grinch smile. You know, like, he got me again. I even sent it. I was like, "You got me. You got me." But yeah, I've been known on the YSN one. There was one on Friday that I felt I did pretty well whenever we were being attacked. Of like, they corrected you on the air. This is not how you pronounce the name. Da 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 da. And I'm like, we're not even broadcasting. Like, that's, you may want to take this up with Spectrum, because we know, like, we are YSN. We know Josh Crumpack, how to pronounce his name. Didn't matter. Lady kept coming. She kept swinging. And I'm like, oh, all right, lady, I lost this battle. Like, cute dog in your profile picture. I lost. That, like, there's an elder generation we just will never win with.
Right.
Because we owe them everything. God bless you. Good luck. This Spectrum
Sometimes
announcers.
they give us Mailbag Monday and at least give us a laugh on Mondays. I'll never forget the one.
Oh boy.
The first one we did from the class of 68?
66.
66.
Did I tell you that guy called back? He called me actively. Yeah, when Hoban was making their run, he called me actively and just really tried to chop our tree down big time. And I didn't know it was him when I picked up, and just walked me through it. Like, he didn't know how to get to the end game. He didn't know how to get to the player. And so I walked him through it, and he said, "This is too difficult." And I said, "Then you don't have to pay for it. You know, go somewhere, go to the game." If I could go to the game, I wouldn't watch it on your stupid. Okay. All right. Well played, sir. Well played. But I don't know how to help you. I'm trying to get you to the end, to the finish line here, so you can watch your team play that you graduated from 50 years ago. Like, help me help you. Help me help you. No, it should play when I say. Oh, okay. All right. I lose. You win. You win on that. What do you got here?
Rob Johnson is saying that's why local coverage matters, because we get the name right.
Well, I don't want to dive too deep down this, because I know we're way over time, but it's like, how many, you saw the messages we were getting on Friday about the game. Mm-hmm. We could have potentially done an audio broadcast of it, but it's not worth it. I mean, the Mooney game was 3 hours away. The McDonald game was 2 hours away. For an audio broadcast, that's still an internet broadcast. And, you know, for $9.99 through the OHSAA, you could just purchase it, which is what we did, which is what I did. Did you watch it, or were you just doing Twitter?
I was using social media for updates, and Greg was there too.
Yeah. I was watching it the entire time, and, you know, it was what I expected. You know, it was very similar to what we do at YSN. They obviously had a camera operator that was zooming in and out and stuff like that, which, you know how that makes me feel, but with one camera. But it was they didn't show the bands, and we got an email from that. And I was like,
this is not our broadcast.
Again, I don't know what to do with my hands when it's not our broadcast. Like Ricky Bobby, like, hey, what would you like me to do? But
that's got to be kind of a double-edged sword, though, because I mean, at least we're big enough that people think it is our broadcast, that we'd be doing the state semifinals.
And you know what, Anthony? Cool. That's a great point, and that's what I chose the avenue to go down. I was like, well, you know what? At least they want it to be us. They're comfortable with us. But man, they love yelling at us, don't they? That's exactly what because I'm sitting here and I'm like, my phone. Literally, I have two monitors in front of me right here, and I've got three over there, and I got my phone, and it's burp, 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 like the whole time, the whole night. And part of me smiled because we had nothing to do with it, and part of me was kind of bummed because we didn't have anything to do with it. If it made sense, you know. And Greg volunteered. He said, I'll go to McDonald, or I'll go to New Philadelphia.
New Philadelphia.
And we had announcers that were ready to go over to the Mooney Wheelersburg game, but it was like, enjoy. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family. And I would have felt a lot worse when the game concluded and we didn't have a winner, because I know how I feel. Like, I feel like we failed them somehow, through our broadcast. Like, you're such a part of the team and such a part of the ride that you're like, man, what can we have done to do, and it sucks. And I don't want our guys to feel like that either. So, but that's enough for today. That's way over time. Almost 2 shows.
Pretty sure the last 20 minutes was pretty much our spark. So,
yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what we say after the show anyways. We just go on tangent. I go on tangents and you correct me and tell me, calm your heart rate before your heart explodes.
Namaste.
That's going to do it for our show. We'll be back tomorrow. There's no doubt. Fun ride today. Oh boy, I bet. We'll be better tomorrow, as we are each and every day. Anthony, I missed you, pal. I missed all of you guys watching. And certainly we can't see you, but we can feel it. And the momentum continues to grow here at YSN. We're in the last month of the year. Congratulations to Landry Smith, Alan Hess Cardona, your big dogs of the year in their respective sports. Such an honor. We will work on getting now the football season's over, we will collect the tallies, if you will, tie up some loose ends with some of the teams, and you will have your all YSN football team. Fingers crossed, we'll be able to unveil it on Thursday or maybe on Friday, since we don't have a show. We'll do do something special, but usually it's just an article, and then we get the hate mail from that as well. So you promise you don't send us hate mail. We'll promise we get that all-star team out.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Yep, that's my thoughts exactly. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow, high noon, right here on YSN Live. On behalf of great job by Greg today. Great job. He surprised me. I didn't know if he was coming today or not.
We're sorry that we pushed you so far that you had to just be like, guys, I got it.
Yeah, our bad, Greg. We had some technical difficulties to start the show, in the middle of the show.
Welcome
and now you can't get us off. So there we go. Thanks to Greg McAfee for being part of this today, for all the overreaction Mondays throughout the football season. Thanks to you for tuning in. Thanks to Anthony Ronald Hartwig, the 8-time best-selling author, world traveler, Grammy, Emmy Award winner, Nobel Peace Prize nominee, for popping in on the show today and wearing a Chiefs crew neck.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Old school. I like it.
Old school.
Crew neck. I'm used to you in hoodies, not crew necks. I like it. It's good look for you, man. Very Old Navy. I like it. We promise that we'll be better tomorrow, and we will certainly let you know that we got a big show for you tomorrow, as well as we do each and every day, Monday through Thursday, right here on YSN. Anthony, as we always say, may the sports be with you, pal.
And you, my friend.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.